This is the Nassaumen Hockey Podcast with James Nichols and Jon Zella.
Welcome back to the Isles Fix Postgame Show with the Nassaumen Hockey Podcast. I'm Jon Zella. To my left, I suppose, on a screen, but to my left on the screen is James Nichols of the fourth period. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing swell. How are you?
I'm all right. The 7:30 start throws me off. I have to admit. It's a little tough. You know, the game ending at 10. We get on this at 10:15. It throws my whole thing off. Bedtime's a consistent 10 o'clock for me, so I gotta hit the hay. This is another late one. And I played back-to-back men's league games.
Oh, you
on
must
Sunday
be exhausted.
night. So I'm gonna be tired for the rest of winter, probably. Likely just right in through April there. Turn into spring. I'll probably get my energy back. But yeah, that was a tough. I regretted it like after the first period, for sure.
I didn't mind it as much. It works out pretty decent for my schedule. Finish one thing and after 9 to 5, and then start the next. And here we are. So worked out pretty well for me. Sorry, pal.
No, it's good. I didn't sleep well last night too. So it's like a couple days rolling now in a row where things not going well in the sleep department. But what is going well is an Islanders bounce back win against a team that they should beat.
Absolutely.
We're not going to discuss the Toronto game. You can catch that in the episode release on Thursday morning prior to their following game, whom I can't remember who that's against, and that's not our problem right now. But in Keith Yandel's Iron Man streak record-breaking game, the Islanders, if you looked at some stats, you would think, wow, they played such a tight game. If you watched some of it, you may have thought that at times, and the complete opposite at others. So let's go at it down and dirty. Give us the highlights. Give us the lowlights.
Like Lou Lamoriello likes to do, let's start from the net out. And the first thing I wanted to talk about was Ilya Sorokin's performance. And it's not something that we often have to talk about negatively. He wasn't himself tonight, though. I don't know if you noticed the same thing. It started with the quick goal from Claude Giroux from the far side, pretty much on the wall. Surprised him, handcuffed him, and banked in off his pad. From there, it just didn't look like it was his game. You know, he seemed shaky, and it almost felt like every puck thrown on net had a chance to go in. A couple of big saves, a couple of good saves positionally. However, not his best game. Listen, we're 33, 34 in now, and he started the majority of them. It's bound to happen. He gets a pass. He's been a workhorse. But yeah, this definitely wasn't his best game.
The rebound control wasn't there. Some little plays. I think those small things that the Islanders goaltenders have just done well over the last few years, including Sorokin. And he's even when it should have been good enough for him to steal a game. The Islanders haven't been able to always put that together. Tonight, they helped him a little bit. They limited the shots, only 17, which may be a low against all season. I didn't have time to check it before we got this started. That may be the least amount of shots against that they've allowed all season. Sorokin allows 3 goals. They did what they had to do in front of him. So
that's true.
For a change, if you want to take a positive out of it, they were able to help Sorokin just get through it. They got him the win. It wasn't the most pretty. His stats will hurt a little bit from this. Not the biggest, not the end of the world. Not the biggest deal.
Right.
We move on. Plenty of games to kind of get your mojo back. I'm not afraid. This did not no intrusive thoughts kind of getting in here about Sorokin. Had a bad game. Everyone has a bad game. And you remember, just remember this anytime you want to get on a goalie's case. Martin Brodeur, known to be the best goalie. You can argue Hasek is better. We can have that discussion in the offseason when we really need things to talk about. But as far as wins and shutouts and cups and Olympic and whatever, he also leads in losses. Remember that. It's not always pretty. The stat lines aren't always great.
Right.
So keep that in mind when we're kind of going at different players in goal. Like there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, for sure. Continuing that theme though of working from the net out, we could talk about the defense a little bit. And like you said, they stepped up and they did what they had to keep Sorokin in the game, and helped him get the win. I thought they did a pretty good job in front of him. One of the goals that stood out to me the most was that goal by I forget his first name, but his last name is Mayhew for the Flyers. Listen, it was a good move for Mayhew. He deked not Sorokin, I'm sorry, Dobson out of his shorts, and just put a good shot on net. Now, was it the best positional play by Dobson? Not in the slightest. And also, Brock Nelson was a little bit out of position there too.
It was a miscommunication. Nelson, who
Miscue
was a
there.
center, was in a 4-on-4 situation. Needs, as AJ
Yes.
Molesco pointed out, he's in a winger situation there.
Hmm.
A little bit of a communication breakdown between the two. Dobson kind of lets him go. Nelson turns his back a little bit. Mayhew, some fancy footwork. If you kind of go back and
Yeah.
rewatch that, that's what a lot of, if you watch kids and different things kind of going up through the ranks now when they're practicing, that's the kind of skating that they're doing. And that's particularly the reason I think that
Yeah.
he kind of exemplified why that kind of training is necessary. And just a good shot, just gets it off short side, is able to kind of turn his body just right. And, you know, Sorokin's not able to get squared up to the puck in time. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a little bit of a letdown there.
Yeah, absolutely. And then moving on to the forwards, good game pretty much all around. One thing I did say about Oliver Wallstrom in his first game back since being benched, was that he just looked like he was trying a little too hard not to make a mistake, in my opinion. Had some good moments, had some shaky moments. But overall, he played a pretty good game. I liked what I saw from him in that first goal, screening the goaltender, off a good shot from Dobson. Um, Played a little physical. He also had his downs where he tried to deke through defenders, just like Trot said he shouldn't be trying to do. So he had some good moments. He had some bad moments. But it was a pretty good game from him overall. And don't look now, but Mr. Zach Parise has 6 points in his last 7 games. Don't look now. So yeah, the power play goal too. Excellent power play goal which was also assisted by Parise, right? Uh Parise finds Barzal on the doorstep and he goes top cheddar. So everything about the offense looked pretty good this game. I liked what I saw. They came out a little slow, but then they wound up picking it up and securing the win.
So Trot, speaking of the offense, Trot starts the game. We hear kind of in the morning skate and in yesterday's practice um, that there's a little bit of a line blender going on.
Yeah.
He's trying to be, as the Alice Fix newsletter said, he was the mad scientist. He's kind of moving things around. We're getting a different look on offense. Bavillier seemed to be the next man up in that top line winger role next to Barzell. It didn't last long. It lasted maybe two shifts. 13 and 27, Barzell and Lee are reunited. A goal immediately.
Yeah.
Did it not work from what you saw? Was it not really enough? What kind of sense did you get? Because the lines were it kind of like evened out after that, kind of moving forward. But did you get any sense of if that was working or not?
Well, so what I think happened was, the like we said earlier, they came out really slow, and I think part of the reason why they came out really slow was just because those aren't the usual lines. I can't speak to if they practiced like that this morning or even yesterday, but
I believe
be,
they did. I believe that was those the lines, and I had saved them somewhere. But yeah, Bavillier, Barzell, Bailey, Lee, Nelson, Bellows.
and now those were the
In
lines at practice,
those were the lines in warmups. I believe at least yesterday things were going through. Again, because it was in the newsletter this
right?
morning, because that's where I get my news as well, and as all of you should. Um, so yeah, that the line blender, it was kind of going a little bit, and I was curious to see if it was going to work. I really do want Bavilier and Barzell think long term, barring any other moves, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired of speculating. We'll talk about that on the actual full episode. But so in the meantime, we're talking about one singular game here. I was looking forward to seeing if it would work or not.
Yeah.
Because then the next option after that, frankly, is either don't touch it, leave it alone, leave Barzell, Bailey until Palmieri comes back, and that's it.
Yeah.
Or you gotta try Wallstrom. We're running out of ideas here. Either
Yeah.
leave it alone or try him. Right? You can't just
Yeah.
keep trying these different players. They want consistency. That was what Barzell said uh, earlier this week. He was looking for some consistency. You just kind of have to leave it alone at a certain point. Trotz had his reasons. Maybe you separate them for a bit, you put them back together. Maybe things are a little, they gel a little bit better. It's a little bit of a refresh. I don't know that 2 or 3 shifts is enough time to, absence
Well,
makes the
right.
heart grow fonder kind of thing, but it seemed to work pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. I think the reason why the lines went back to their usual was just because they started off slow, and Trotz didn't want to allow a team that has lost 12 straight in a row break that streak against the Islanders. So he put his lines back together, and I guess that absence did make the heart grow fonder because it was a pretty quick. I think it was 40 something seconds between the Flyers' second goal and the Islanders' first goal when Lee and Barzell were reunited. Pretty goal too. So good. It was good to see that at least that when they were put back together, it did work. So
Any other highlights or lowlights before we hit our break in a few minutes here?
that was really it. One of the other plays that stood out to me in this game actually was a little give and go between Barzell and Chara. Chara received that go from Barzell, skated the puck into a high danger spot, wound up hitting the post. But hey, good move from the 44-year-old. You might not see it too many times after this, but it was good to see him get in the offensive mix a little bit at least.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking, going back to the back end, I did like that. I had a tweet fired up. I shared it with you and Joe. I won't share it here to get the cat out of the bag, but it's a good
Yeah,
one. Charles,
hopefully
it's
you'll
been
use it
hopefully I use it. I keep every time he's on the ice, I pull up the drafts and I
every
have
time.
my fingers hovering over the tweet button, ready to fire it off there. But another defender, and I'll say this: Green has been consistent. Chara has been quiet, right? I
And
think
that's
for the
okay.
most, and that's okay, right? Unnoticeable, not a lot going on there. I'm fine with that. Totally cool with not paying that much attention to what he's doing.
Yeah.
At times, you do see him not have that step. He could be playing against a 28-year-old and they just look quicker next to him, right? Like that was really never his game. And there were instances even in this game where Chara was behind the net and a player just kind of came up and kind of got under his skin a little bit and under the stick and whatever. And Chara's able to, just because he has a longer stick, able to get the puck out of there. But it's
Yeah.
always close. There's always a couple moments, but he's been largely unnoticeable, which is fine. I think I want to give some credit to Robin Salo here.
Okay.
Um, and I'm wondering, again, this is probably a topic for the next episode. And I promise we'll be better about not saying that 1,000 times in each one of these as we get used to this. But particularly in this game, again, more than a quiet game, he's kind of just been a steady defender on that power play
Yeah.
where he's able to keep the puck in, he's able to find the open man and just kind of dish it off and not play quarterback, but he's directing traffic a little bit. He's able
Yeah.
to move that puck around, and I want to give him credit, right? I think when Pulak returns, it's gonna be a really hard decision for Trotz to make. I don't think that we should talk about it quite now, just because we don't have the
Right.
time. But I do want to give him credit. He's out there. He's playing with poise. He's not, again. He's not getting himself in trouble. I'm not seeing tweets. I'm not seeing it myself
Yeah.
where he's getting himself into trouble. And I think that's really important. What do you think about his play so far?
No, yeah, I totally agree with you. And I'll add one thing that I enjoy seeing from him too is when he does opt to shoot, he's finding a way to get the puck through to the net. It's not one of those shots that are being consistently blocked from the blue line. And that's something that the Islanders kind of lack, right? A lot of their shots wind up getting blocked from that blue line.
Oh,
Dobbs
the
is getting a little
Flyers
bit
were
better at
eating
it.
pucks for breakfast
Yeah.
tonight, and
So
it could have been poor shot selection, which we're
could
going to
have.
talk about soon, and the Flyers just kind of doing a good job.
Yeah.
So
I,
I think that's a balance there.
yeah, absolutely. But like I said, Salo's been one of the better defensemen at getting shots through traffic and creating scoring chances, and that's what you want to see from a young offensive guy like him.
Absolutely. We're going to keep this on schedule. We we said we'd keep this to 30, 40 minutes. So we're going to hit a quick ad break, and we'll be right back.
Nassaumen Hockey is brought to you by DraftKings. We're on to the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is celebrating with huge odds boosts for new customers. Counting down to Super Bowl 56, new customers can get 56 to 1 odds on any team. Bet just $5 and get $280 in free bets if your team wins. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still get in on the action of the divisional round. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings daily fantasy football contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, use promo code THPN, and get 56 to 1 odds on any NFL team. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code THPN for 56 to 1 odds at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 years or older, New Jersey, Indiana, and Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Nassaumen Hockey is also brought to you by Manscaped. Roses are red, violets are blue. Don't let wild hairs wreck you. Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and our sponsors at Manscaped are here with the best tools to get you ready for the special occasion. This Valentine's Day, it's time to join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and use promo code NHP20 for 20% off and free shipping. The holidays went by so quickly. Did you shore up your grooming game routine with the best tools for the job? The Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is just the thing every guy needs in their life to make sure each and every day is a little more special. The number one product in this package is the Lawnmower 4.0. This electric trimmer is designed to trim hair on loose skin. And get this, the trimmer's advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts, nicks, and everything else on your body. It even has a 400K LED spotlight so you can shave in the dark. Did I mention that it's waterproof too? Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts with the Performance Package 4.0. Their Shed Travel Bag and Anti-Chafing Boxer Briefs to keep you comfy everywhere. Trust me, they're a big hit. Wearing them right now, and I love them. Get 20% off and free shipping with promo code NHP20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code NHP20. Join Cupid and shoot your arrow with Manscaped this Valentine's Day.
Welcome back. Those ads get more and more fun every time.
Every time.
So I think going through the rest of the game here and trying to figure out where the Islanders are, still some bad plays in the second period. A lot of rushed plays. I want to go back to Waltram in particular on this point, and because you had mentioned some things about his game and Trot sitting him and so on. I thought at times he's trying to make decisions quicker. I can't tell if his hands are too quick for his mind or his mind is too quick for his hands. He's just trying to rush plays, I think is what I'm trying to say. That he's trying to force things that aren't there and just trying to make, he sees something there. There's probably too many bodies between the puck and where he wants it to go. They're getting intercepted. What else were you seeing in this game that you didn't say before? Or do you disagree with that?
No, I don't disagree. I think that when he was playing in juniors, he was, notorious for being able to deke through, defenders and snipe a goal top shelf, and that was pretty much his forte. That's really what put him on the map as a sniper. at the NHL level, that's just not going to work. So what he really needs to figure out is how to create that room for himself where he can still get a shot off. It might not be, deking through defenders, but if he can just, back them off a little bit and get a shot through, it might still be just as effective. So he's just got to figure out on his own personal level how to create his own space, and so he can get his shots off. Because the deking through the defenders and trying to thread needles through defenders at the NHL level, that stuff's not going to work anymore like it did in juniors. So,
I think Trotz is
um,
looking for him to make the safe plays and not
yeah,
like I think not just boring because it's the Islanders and blah blah blah, but I think there's just certain plays when it's 2-on-3, you're in the middle of a shift nearing the end, make the safe play.
yeah,
Find a soft area of the ice and get it in there. Cycle the puck a little bit more. Find some of those open areas for yourself. Even on the power play, he seems to kind of think that he's Alex Ovechkin, and he's got quite a great shot, but he's not quite there as far as leveling up to that an Ovechkin style thing, especially with how much the grade 8 scored on the power play. He's got a long way to go,
yeah,
but he's not moving around. The whole power play looks a little kind of stale in there. They're trying to figure things out. They had some success tonight against the Flyers, but it's not enough from him in particular. Someone that wants that puck, he's got to move a little bit. He's got to move his feet when he's making passes. He's just kind of hoping things are going to happen and kind of fall into place. And I think what he needs to realize is there's a little more effort that needs to go
yeah,
in order to make that happen. So I
yeah.
wasn't
I think the Ovechkin comparison is interesting, right? Because Ovechkin is at this point, especially on the power play, he's not a mobile scorer, right? Most of his goals come on the power play, and he's standing in that same exact spot every time. And I think that the Islanders are trying to kind of replicate that, especially because Trotz did utilize this at one point in his own career with that Capitals power play. So I think Wallstrom's trying to, and the Islanders power play and Trotz himself are trying to replicate that. However, it's just not the same because they had other threats on that power play, like TJ Oshie, who the defenders were also trying to occupy, and they had facilitators like Nicholas Backstrom and Evgeny Kuznetsov, who could thread needles and get those passes through to Ovechkin. So I understand the Islanders have Barzell, and he's playing fantastic and largely driving the offense all on his own. But it's not the same power play. And even at 5-on-5, yeah, Wallstrom still has to move his feet a little bit and try to get shots off in that sense as well. I've seen him do it before. He scored a couple of very nice goals, one or two, while moving his feet. He just doesn't do it often enough, and a lot of it, just his scoring opportunities come stationary. So I think that's one of the biggest things he needs to work on is moving his feet while the gears are turning in his brain and he's shooting the pucks.
right. I think at the same time, him and Noah Dobson need to create some chemistry.
Yeah,
They're both really young. They're going to be on this team for a long time. Even in this game, and we talked about it last episode, before we spoke with David Pagnotta. I said it in the post game that we did last Tuesday.
yeah.
After some game, I can't remember. There's actually quite a bit now, so it's hard to remember who they're playing
It
at
was
this
another
point.
Flyers game.
Probably the Flyers. I was gonna say it's probably
It
the
was.
Flyers. The NHL was like, "You're not gonna play anymore," and the Islanders fans were like, "But what if you did?" And like, okay, just the Flyers though. So it's been one of those weeks where they're playing them 3 times
They don't meet again
in
till
8 days.
March, so don't worry.
Good. All right, we got a little bit of a break here, but we've noted it a couple times now, and I even saw it again tonight against the
Yeah,
Flyers in the power play, where for whatever reason it's not a far pass, it's not a very difficult pass, but they're just not able to connect on it. It's
right.
like too far on Wallstrom's front foot, similar to your um, the shot that you took to break the puck for your kid with the powder in it. Too far on the front foot there. You're losing all your momentum. Your body weight shifted too far forward. Dobson's giving him a similar pass there where it's too far on his front foot. Then Dobson's trying to shift. Um, at this point, Dobson should be able to anticipate. All right, he passes a little in front of me here.
Yeah,
I gotta square up a little bit different. I gotta get in a different position. They kind of just keep doing the same thing. So I think it's on both of them to figure that out together. You think they have enough practice time or that 2-week span where they were barely playing, pass the puck to each other. You're talking about a 10-foot pass. Get the puck on each other's stick, put it in the wheelhouse for him, ask him where he wants it, stay on the ice after practice and get it done. This can be a really important part of the Islanders moving forward, especially if they make the playoffs. They're going to need their power play to be clicking. Um, but even Barzell trying to force those plays through the middle to get to Wallstrom.
Yeah.
He's probably seeing Dobson not able to connect. He's trying to get it to Wallstrom because that's a good option. Um, Luckily, I will say, a bright spot is I like Peugeot in that bumper
Mhm.
in the high slot. He is able to kind of corral pucks after either an errant pass or whatever is happening. He's able to kind of get the puck back and retrieve it and dish it off to Dobson or Barzell to do that. Um, Speaking of Barzell, on fire as of late,
Yeah.
carrying the offense or whatever the Islanders consider that part of their game to be. For many, it's not. It's not very offensive, especially in this game. And one of our last points here. Do you notice that there's a lot of? I would have liked to see them shoot moments
Yeah.
in this game.
Yeah. I've definitely noticed an abundance of those moments, and it's come from not just one or two players. It's come from a lot of players. A lot of trying to just make that extra pass when you don't have to. There was another chance tonight for I believe it was Parise after he scored. He tried to make another an extra pass like not 30 seconds later, and if he would have shot the puck, he probably would have had a second goal of the night. I think Barzell had an opportunity as well that he opted to pass rather than shoot. So yeah, just one too many passes coming from the forwards uh, in the offensive zone, and that mindset's probably got to change, just a little bit, and just get pucks on net. Good things happen when you shoot the puck. We've seen it plenty of times now. Especially, look at the first goal against the Islanders for Giroux. He just threw it at the net and it found its way in. So just shoot the puck.
Yeah, their high danger chances are not quite the same as they've been in years past. So that
Yeah.
part of their when you're analyzing the numbers for this team, it's a little bit different. Now they're having their shots suppressed from everywhere. Their offense isn't quite the same as far as their energy is concerned for whatever reason. So they do need to just get pucks to the net. There were a number of opportunities. Barzell, Bailey, Parise, as you pointed out. They just I even hear Butchie on the broadcast just beside himself, incredulous, watching these plays, and he's like, "What happened?" He can't even put the words together as he's so surprised by the lack of just getting the puck to the net, as you said. There's not a lot of sniper type players. Nelson is capable of it. Barzell is capable of it. Um, they could always use somebody else. Again, that's kind of getting to be a tired storyline. We know that. We've known that. Um, the Islanders have needed a top line winger for over a decade. We're kind of done discussing that at this point, but um, at least tonight, it's always a decent topic. But it's just tired, right? I kind of want to
Yeah,
deal with like we started the show. At a certain point, you got to deal with what you have, right?
of
Palmieri's going
course.
to come back. You kind of maybe figure some things out. It
Yeah.
does add a little bit of depth, um, regardless of what he did in the early part of the season. But I would like to see them shoot more, not even just on the power play, right? I get you being strategic, and all that's fine, but on rushes or just different opportunities, they have to find a way, kind of like Chara just getting that puck to the net and crashing, getting guys there, going to the
Yeah.
dirty areas. I see a lot of them getting out of the way. When the puck is low, you're kind of giving the goalie their eyes back when they definitely had it, especially against Martin Jones,
Yeah.
who's really not been good for the last little while,
No.
the last few seasons. There's no reason why you can't score more than 4 on him, and kind of struggle to do so, right? I think the Islanders doubled the Flyers up in shots this game,
Yeah.
um, at least 34-17 or something in and around that.
Yeah, it was 33-17. I was just gonna say, it's interesting too, because we're talking about they could have shot the puck a couple more times. They put 33 shots on net. So yeah, we talk all the time about this team needs shooters, this team needs shooters. They put 33 shots up tonight. And yeah, they do often, choose to pass the puck one extra time too many. And the shot doesn't end up getting on net. But they put up 33 tonight. And more regularly as this schedule has finally, you know, gotten some consistency and been regular, they're shooting more and more and they're scoring more and more. I think they're averaging something like 3 goals a game, at
It's
this point.
close. It's,
So
I think, 2.8. They showed it at the beginning of the show here, at
yeah,
the
I
beginning of
mean,
the
and then they
broadcast,
scored 4. So
and then they
it
scored 4.
right. So it could be closer now to 3, maybe just a little bit over. So they're shooting, they're scoring. So it's again, and this is maybe something that we'll talk about for Thursday morning's episode, but they have the shooters. They just need to make sure they continue finding the back of the net.
It's interesting, and I'll make this note. You know, they have they need a facilitator, but they're overpassing. Are they
Right.
overcompensating? Because that's what I'm seeing, and that's kind of a point where I'm watching the last 3 games, and I'm going. I mean, I kind of get what Pagnotta was saying. At the same time, I'm what I'm seeing on the ice. I disagree. Right?
Right.
I'm seeing overpassing. Is that the wrong guys making the passes? Is that somebody they need to kind of reconstruct what those lines look like if they did add somebody like that? I think too many questions for us to answer right now, but something worth thinking about.
Yeah, absolutely. One other thing I did want to note was Barry Trotz's comments on Oliver Waltram's game tonight, and he actually said that I really liked Wally's response. I think he had 5 shots, but only 2 hit the net. There was only one play I wish he could take back, but other than that, he was solid. He's better when he keeps it simple, and then his skill comes out. So good to see that the coach likes what he sees from Wallstrom in a game where he comes back. Um, that should that should signal that he'll be in the lineup next game.
I don't think that was ever going to be a long-term
I don't
move.
think it was either.
It was just, I'll admit, and again, we're kind of blowing it. I guess we just won't talk about it the next episode. But I didn't think that was the right game to do it against Toronto. We can dive into that just because they wound up scoring 1 goal, and that that seems really silly to me. I get doing it.
Yeah,
I get trying to time it right, and that's difficult. And it's the next game up, and it was, blah blah blah. That's not the team to do it against. The Islanders are two. What's the stat? It's something
2-10 and something. Not good against
two
playoff
ten and
teams.
3, being outscored 46-21 so far this season against teams in playoff position. You don't sit that kind of guy against the Maple Leafs, who are coming in. They're playing for Tavares on Long Island. That's an important game. You gotta have your best lineup. That's not now nothing against Zarnik, right? You could argue Bellows, Zarnik, you can, yeah, at a certain
Yeah,
point interchange, whatever. Although Bellows has quietly been good. I thought he had another pretty good game here. He's doing a lot of those little things right.
agreed.
Um, Possibly a future Bellows, Peugeot, Wallstrom third line, or whatever kind of combination where Bellows is playing a little bit of more of that kind of safe offensive game, and then with a little bit of upside. That's pretty much Parise and lower cap hit. Well, Parise's cap hit's pretty low as well. Couple of comments here before we wrap it up. Coming in from viewers, which thanks for joining us live. It's a little late. For everybody. So we really appreciate that. Um, Kirsten McCammon says, do you think Sorokin seeing such a few shots was a factor in his shakiness tonight? Maybe outside of that first goal. What do you think?
Yeah, he said openly that he likes to have a heavier workload. He didn't play in I think it was 4 or 5 days. The last game he played was against Arizona on Friday, so he's probably just shaking off a little bit of rust and only 17 shots in a game. Yeah, yeah. At some points, he was probably standing there saying, I want to get in on the action. So, yeah, I could definitely see that being a factor. But listen, all goaltenders every once in a while have a bad game. And I don't really think it's anything to be worried about moving forward. Sorokin will be just fine. And it was, they still got the win. So he was good enough.
Absolutely. And our buddy here, you're going to pronounce his name. I'm sorry,
Oh, Noah Wexblatt.
their name.
Noah Wexelblatt.
Yeah, so your buddy here. Um, he says what drives me nuts. Sorry, they said what drives me nuts is standing around on the power play makes it so predictable. We talked about that earlier in this post game, that's a little bit of the issue. It makes the passing more difficult, makes them more predictable. It should make it easier to connect those passes. For some reason, it's not. Sometimes that movement and putting the puck into areas and making those area passes um, gets a little momentum. You get the juices flowing. You're starting to, you gotta. Hockey is more like chess than anything else. You're just waiting for a breakdown and to capitalize on it. When you're not making the other team move, you're not creating an opportunity for a mistake to
Right.
be able to capitalize. So they're just in position. The puck's going to the point. Dobson or whomever take a shot and it's blocked. We
Right.
saw that a few times. That's not a mistake. Then they're trying to make a pass flat-footed, giving these guys, yeah, the puck goes faster than you can skate. I don't know how, all my coaches used to say that. You can't skate the puck. But a lot of teams are figuring out and they're able to anticipate what's going to happen. And no, they're not skating faster than the puck, but they're kind of Wayne Gretzkying the situation, going, well, I know where it's going to go. I don't need to be faster than it. I don't need to be the fastest person on the ice. I just need to be in the right position.
Right.
And they're kind of just outsmarting the Islanders power play.
Right. The reason why it works so well for the Capitals and Alex Ovechkin is because, like I stated earlier, they have those playmakers and they have the other threat like TJ Oshie, Anthony Mantha, even Tom Wilson scoring goals on the power play. But the reason why when Ovechkin's on the ice on the left side, he's still for some reason in today's day and age at 35 years old, and something like 700 and something goals in. Still it gets left open because there's so much going on the other side of the ice that he's not standing on with Backstrom, Kuznetsov, Oshie just rotating that puck, moving the puck, having defenders switch their spots, move out of their lanes, and it's creating passing lanes for them. So the Islanders have to figure out a way to get those defenders to move out of their position, move out of their lanes, and create those passing lanes for themselves that will ultimately create scoring opportunities for a Waltram and a rebound chance for Lee, and maybe even trying Nelson on that first unit as well with Waltram, with Barzell. Nelson is far and away the Islanders' best goal scorer. He should probably be on the first power play unit. I get that he's
So,
probably the anchor for the second, but he probably should get a look with Barzell.
well, quick timeout on what you're saying here. We did see Dobson and Barzell get a lot of time on both units tonight,
That's
which
also true. Yeah.
which included time with Nelson.
Yeah.
And that's really the first time that we're seeing Trotz use his star players a
Double shifting.
little double shifting in this kind of capacity.
Yeah.
We have not seen that with the Islanders by and large, unless it was, uh, Barzell kind of skating with the fourth line or skating with the third line and kind of sneaking them in here and there.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
was like a lot of other coaches keeping their star players out for longer on the power play. And that's a big change for him,
And you see it with defenders too. That's where you saw it, right? He would put Pellick out for a double shift to lock down a game at the end of the game,
which is
or he
fine.
would do the same with Pollock, right? That's where you would see it. But this is, yeah, like you said, the first time you're seeing it on a power play unit. The first time you're seeing it for him trying to get more offense, generate more offense for the team, and it was a good call. I liked seeing Barzell on the power play more often. I liked seeing Dobson on the power play more often because those are your two play drivers right now. Those are the two that are making it work. So
Yeah.
they went scoreless in their last 5 games on the power play. He double shifted them tonight, and next thing you know, they got another goal. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It
a
was
good
off
good
the
decision.
actually no, the Parise goal was off the rush. It was just as the power play ended. So that wasn't it could have
No, the one
included
before
that, but it was
Barzell's.
right, but it was close.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you're seeing Parise get some power play time as well.
Yep. Looks good.
Bailey's going in there. Salo is still getting time, like we talked about earlier. I think that's
Yeah.
really important for kind of long-term growth. It'll be interesting to see how things play out moving forward as Pulak gets ready to return because Chara's, they truly are relying on all six. This is not like last season where Dobson was kind of getting sheltered a bit. Salo's out there, right?
Yeah.
Some of what the team would call like the quote weaker defenders, Chara and Green were out near the end of the game within close proximity and shifts to each other. You didn't see Mayfield out there.
Yeah.
You saw Char and Green. You saw Mayfield, Pellick, maybe. You were seeing a lot of the same defenders over and over, and that maybe the team wouldn't normally rely on. if Pulak was in the lineup. Um, so I think that's just important to point out there.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Anything else? Closing thoughts before we kind of wrap it up here. We've stayed real close to what we wanted to do in this post game
Hey,
as
it's
far as
better than
timing.
usual.
Better than usual. Yeah, we were joking because every time we want to do this, there's usually a shootout or overtime or
Yeah.
something crazy, and we're going live, and it goes later into the evening than either of us can handle.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I mean, we hope you enjoyed this. Listen, the Islanders are collecting points, and even my boss David Pignotta just recently said via Twitter that the Islanders are climbing. They got points in their last 14 or 14 of 18. They're doing real well, but John accurately pointed out that although that's real great, they need to get these points against playoff teams. I believe their next contest is either is it against the Wild. I think it might be against the Wild. No, their next game is on Thursday against the Kings. So they got the Kings, they got the Kraken, and then they got the Wild on Sunday. A couple of winnable games coming up. Then they got Minnesota, where that's going to be a tough test, but they're playing good hockey. Hopefully, you can see them rise to the occasion against Minnesota. But before we even get there, you will get another episode from us on Thursday morning. Um, and I think that's all I got, John.
That's awesome. So big thank you to DraftKings. Make sure to use the THPM promo code with them. Make sure to use that NHP20 promo code with Manscaped. Some great products there. Big thanks as always to the Hockey Podcast Network. Make sure if you're looking to get into some other games and other teams around the league, they do watch alongs on YouTube. They're really great. All the hosts of these podcasts and different folks are awesome. So definitely check them out. Thanks to our partners over at IslesFix. And of course, all of you, especially the ones listening live. Really appreciate that. And even more so, the people submitting questions. Rate, review wherever you watch or listen. Follow us on social media at Nassaumen Hockey. Join our Discord. You can find James' work at the fourth period. You can find mine at the Hockey Writers, and make sure again subscribe to IslesFix newsletter. You get it every morning, and it is free 99. So go check it out. Sign up. They're doing a giveaway. Ends in today's
Yeah.
vintage on their hat.
Yep.
Super cool. Do that. I really want it. Would feel guilty, and then I would if I want it, and I'd give it away, and then we're doing it twice, and doesn't matter. So until next time, let's go on, Anders.